Good evening to those who are listening. It is March 26th, 2025, 6:01 p.m. And right off the start, I'm going to tell you that this is going to be a crazy video. But to start off, I'm not worried. I mean, I'm worried about it only for the sake of the aggravation that I'm going to have to go through. But in the end, everything will work out to where it should work out. God is in control. I already know the truth about everything. So whatever I have to go through is the aggravation part. So don't worry, God's in control. Everything's going to work out in the end. But let me tell you what happened. Oh my goodness. So, I was talking to the guy from Iowa, the Department of Revenue. I still don't know if he's legit or not. I think it's fraud, but I don't know for sure. But if it isn't fraud and it's legit, it might be even worse because they're breaking federal laws. All right, so the guy wanted proof that I did not file state income taxes in 2021 for the state of Iowa. I showed him proof that I only made $408 of taxable income, and he said, "Yeah, that's the proof, but now I need a copy of your Iowa filings." I've said, "This is the whole thing we're going under." I wanted to say, "Are you a moron?" I didn't file state taxes, so how can I give you an invisible copy of something I didn't do? Well, we need proof of it. I said, I gave you the proof. Well, no, that's not good enough. We need it for the state of Iowa. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So I told him, I said, I think this is fraud. I think, whatever you're doing is against the law, because you're threatening to send it to collections for $836. I said, how can you send something to collections before you even know if somebody filed or didn't file? Well, it's estimated. Well, how can you estimate something that hasn't happened yet? You haven't even investigated it. I said, go ahead and investigate it. You're going to find out that, it was legit. I didn't file because I didn't make no money. I would have made $15. It would have cost me $40 to file. Why would you file something and lose money? That's dumb. It's just like this year. For the last year, I had $108 of taxable income because almost all of it was disability. And I would have made $5 in state taxes. Why am I going to pay $40 to get $5 back? That doesn't make any sense. So he's like, well, we can do that. And I said, well, that sounds like a threat to me. Well, that's what the state of Iowa can do. We can put you in collections. So I'm like, how can you do, it's like, it's so stupid. It's like if you went to a car dealership and you said, oh, I'm looking to buy a car. I'm looking to buy this car right here, maybe. And then you leave the dealership and they give you a bill for $20,000 saying you owe because you didn't buy the car. No, come on, that's dumb. It's stupid. So I told him, I said, I think this is a scam. I think you're not legit. And he's like, oh, you can call the number and find out if I'm legit or not. So I wound up calling the Attorney General. Attorney General told me to call the Iowa Department of Revenue again. And I talked to another woman, and I asked her if a certain person was legit, and she immediately said yes. Now, how would she know if that person works there or not? And I found out he said he was an independent contractor and doesn't work, right in that department. So I don't know. It just all sounds all crazy. So then I'm saying, well, how about this? I just let it go. I don't do nothing. You guys investigate, and then when you find out that I was telling the truth the whole time, then you guys just drop it. Nope. He says, no, there's still a collection then. There'll still be a collection on it. And then he went on and said, well, we can take your license away from you. We can make it so you can't renew your registration or your tags or your plates on your car. And I'm like, you're threatening me. He goes, I'm not threatening you. I said, you're threatening to to put me in collections. You're threatening to take away my license, and and me being able to renew my car so I wouldn't be able to drive. Well, that's what the state of Iowa can do. And I said, that's breaking the law. How can you do that to somebody before you even know if they did something or not? So it's so stupid. He gave me a deadline of Friday to get all this information. So yesterday I went ahead and called the IRS, got their AI automated system, and they, it's for transcripts. So what year do you want the transcripts? So, I did the 2021, and I did 2022 just in case it was the wrong one. And they said, okay, it'll be 5 to 10 business days before you receive it. Well, that don't help me. I need it by Friday. So I told the guy that too. I said, well, what good is it? If I even get the proof, it's not going to be in time for you. Well, if you just give me your Colorado, I'm like, what? Now you want my Colorado information for my taxes? I said, this is for the state of Iowa. You already saw that I've filed through Iowa for my federal for the Colorado unemployment there. It's just insane. So to me, it sounds like it would be a good lawsuit because they're breaking the law. How can they charge you money or for a bill? And then, of course, there's going to be interest on it, too, if you don't pay. How can they charge me $836 for something that they didn't even investigate yet? That's just the most insane thing I've heard about. Here comes the demon clouds in. So I also found out that Colorado is breaking the law. I looked it up, and I said, I even made it specific to. I said, can Iowa unemployment, can they do an overpayment if they don't send you any letters in the mail? And it said, no, it's against the law. They have to send you letters in the mail telling you about it. So when I got the emails, I thought it was scam. One, because the case was already closed. We already went through all this stuff, 8 months worth of crap for them to find out, oh yeah, everything was legit. And, everything I got from unemployment was all legit. Case closed. Boom. Done. Over with. Period. Done. So I figured, anything that I'm getting in emails from Colorado has to be, there's a triangle, has to be scam. So that's what I told her. I said, the reason I didn't answer the emails because I thought it was scam. This case is already closed. There's nothing else to discuss. And then, when I finally got in there, bam, now suddenly I owe $32,000. Looking back at my taxes, when I filed, it was $21,000 that I received in unemployment. So how does it get up to $32,000? I asked, is there interest on this? Oh, no, there's no interest on this. Even on the website, it showed no interest. How does it get to $32,000? I don't know. That's crazy. I've never seen anything like this before. And then I asked the lady, has she ever heard of any other cases like mine that she's had? And she said, nope, you're the first one. She says she has not had any other people with the same situation as me. So, crazy. I don't know. So I'm just venting out, I'm not worried about it in the long run. I'm just worried about all the aggravation and the stress that I got to go through trying to explain and prove all this stuff when it's already been proved. I already proved it to these people. That's what I don't understand. Colorado, that was proved 3 years ago. And that's another thing too. I asked them, I said, why did you guys wait 3 years before you started coming after me? Oh, well, that's what we do in Iowa. We wait 3 years and then we start sending out the letters if they didn't file. I'm like, isn't that against the law too? Why are you waiting? It's just stupid. So I don't know what's going to happen with Iowa, but it's possible it might force me to move out of the state of Iowa. If they actually go through with all the threats that they're saying, I can lose my license. And I don't know how that's going to affect everything else, so I might have to move. And then if Colorado's doing this crap too, I might not be able to move to Colorado. I might have to move to somewhere else. So I don't know. I talked to a guy at Bible study today. He's been doing taxes for 30 years. He told me what it sounds like from what I explained to him. It sounds like fraud. And he says what they're doing, threatening you, is against the law. I asked the lady too about that. I said, this guy's been threatening me. You know, threats, all those threats. And I said, isn't that against the law to threaten people over the phone? And she said, well, it's just, you know, if you didn't file your taxes. I said, I did, but you know, you guys just don't accept the proof I'm giving you. You know, how can they do that? Isn't that against the law to threaten people over the phone for something that they don't even know if they did or didn't do? It's like every time she's like, she didn't know what to say. It's big pauses. And then I got, irate a little bit, and I just got mad. It was like, you're breaking the law, what you're doing. This should be against federal law. And she goes, do you want to talk to a supervisor? I said, yeah, send me to a supervisor. She goes, oh, well, the supervisor's out for the rest of the day. I was like, oh, sure. Why did you ask then? But supposedly this supervisor's going to call. She goes, I need your phone number, she said at the beginning. And then I started, telling her, well, why is all this stuff happening? And then, the supervisor, oh, you want to get hold of the supervisor? And I never gave the phone number, but then she asked for it, but I never gave it to her. And then after end, she says, well, we'll have the supervisor call you tomorrow. I said, well, don't you need the phone number? She goes, well, I already got it right here. Is it this? I'm like, yeah. Well, then why'd you ask me for it before then? It's just so stupid. So I don't know, just venting. But don't worry, everything's going to work out. It's just the aggravation I know I'm going to have to go through for months and months and months and months. It's going to be nothing but heartache and nightmares, which is another thing, you can, if I can find a way to sue the state for harassment, for one, because harassment and threatening, they were threatening me. And I got it recorded too, so if I can do that and prove that they're breaking the law, maybe I have something. I just think it's crazy. All right, so there it is. I just had to let everybody know what's going on, so everybody can at least know that this is all crazy, unlawful things that they're doing. I don't understand how they can do that. How can they take away your license, throw you in collections before they even investigate it? And they already know that I made less than $1,000. So now it's just a question of, did he file or did he not file? Why should that even matter? Let's say I didn't file and I owed. How can I can't owe anyway. When you're only making a certain amount of money. And I've never owed in my whole entire life. Never owed any state, never owed any federal ever in my entire life. Because I've always been poor. I've never made more than $16,000 in any year. I made more in unemployment. The year of $21,000 that I got, I made more in unemployment than I ever did in my whole entire life in any particular year. Because I've always had problems. I've always had health problems of some kind that forced me not to be able to work as much as I wanted. I mean, I used to back in the day. But ever since I've had all the health problems, then, it was all part-time stuff. So I didn't make that much money. And even when I was working 40 plus hours a week, back in the day, it was all minimum wage. So it's still, when I made $5,000 in a year, I was like, wow, that's terrible. But that was for 40 hours a week. For like 9 months out of the year. So that's terrible. But when you're only making $5 an hour, it's not going to add up to a lot. So it always looks like I'm not working. But even back in the 80s and 90s when I was working 40 hours a week, it didn't, I didn't make much money. Still didn't didn't look like I worked much, So if you see somebody making a certain amount of money, you think, oh, they must have only worked 10, 20 hours a week. No, I was working 40, sometimes even a little bit more than 40 hours a week, and still doesn't look like it because you're making minimum wage. All right, thanks for watching. Love you guys. Don't worry, everything's going to work out. God's in control. It's just it's just the aggravation that I got to go through again and prove to them what I already proved 3 years ago. Come on. I proved it all 3 years ago, and I've got to prove it again. Even though I already proved it again, how am I going to prove it any more than I've already proved it? Thanks for watching. God bless.